Hey everybody, Thomas Joseph here, and today I'm really excited to share with you a quick make-ahead item that you can keep in your refrigerator, in your freezer, and you can add really bright flavor to any dish any night of the week, and that is a compound butter. So let's get started. Now, the beauty behind compound butters here is that the flavor variations are really endless and you can suit them to your tastes. Now, in front of me here, I have some different options for some herbs and citrus and spice, but you really could change this up and you could even make it sweet if you would like. So in front of me here, I have some different herb options. Basil, of course. A lot of people use basil in recipes, especially in the summertime. It has that wonderful, bright, fragrant flavor that would be perfect in a compound butter. Next to that, I have tarragon, which the flavor has a bit of an anise quality to it, almost a licorice type flavor. That's really great with fish and other seafood. Cilantro, of course, is used a lot in Latin American cuisine, and that would be really great in accompaniment with some chilies maybe, or a little bit of lime zest. You'd have something that would really give a bright flavor to chicken or fish. Flat leaf parsley, which is really great, green, grassy, a little citrusy flavor, I would say. No, this is flat leaf parsley, but you could use curly parsley if you'd like. Chervil is also a relative of the parsley herb here, which also has a really great flavor if you can find it. It's a little hard to find. One of my favorite herbs is thyme. Now, thyme is considered one of those woodsy herbs, but it really does well in an herb butter because it brings kind of this complex flavor, this depth of flavor to the herb butter, which is really fantastic. Chive is really great as well, and you could use shallot here if you'd like, and then garlic, of course. Garlic is really great in a compound butter, especially if you're going to use it to kind of cook or add heat to the butter. So citrus is also a really great add to a compound butter. The zest is really fantastic. Once you know that technique, you can really change it up and play around with it. So I'm going to use just a classic bowl today to mix this all together, but you could certainly use a stand mixer. You can use a food processor like this. When you use a stand mixer and a food processor, what you do is you really get a fluffy compound butter, which is really fantastic if you're making it sweet and you want to put it on pancakes or on a scone. But I'm going to just mix it together in a bowl. So I'm using 2 sticks of butter here to start. Now, you can use 1 stick of butter, you can use 4 sticks of butter, you can make a big batch, you can make small batches, you can divide it up however you see fit. But today I'm using just a regular conventional American butter, which is around 80% butter fat. That's the minimum in the United States. It needs to be 80%. But if you have access to a European style butter, typically the butter fat content is higher, which will give you a really rich, delicious compound butter. So if you can find it in your supermarket, I would encourage you to purchase it and use it in this application. So 2 sticks of butter here, and to this I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Now I'm using unsalted butter in the compound butter because I want to be able to adjust the salt to my tastes. So I'm going to add a hefty pinch here of coarse kosher salt. That's kind of what we always use here in the test kitchens at Martha Stewart Living, and some freshly ground pepper. And you really want to use freshly ground if you can, guys, because it has really bright, peppery, spicy flavor. The stuff you get in the supermarket that's already pre-ground isn't really great. It's almost flavorless, so I would really recommend that you grind your own peppercorns. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of spice here, you certainly could. I don't have that in front of me, but a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cayenne, some red pepper flakes, that would really kind of give a little bit of heat that gives complexity to the butter. Now, today I'm gonna add some chives and thyme because those are my kind of favorite flavors. So I'm gonna add a hefty pinch of chopped chives here and a hefty pinch of thyme leaves here. Now, in addition to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon zest. And again, the zest, you guys, of citrus is really fragrant and flavorful, and most people just use, citrus juice at home, but really, if you're adding juice to a recipe, the zest is really flavorful, and think about adding a little bit of this zest to whatever dish you're making. Don't waste it, don't throw it away. It really is one of those kind of flavor amplifiers because it is so saturated with the natural oils of the citrus. And altogether, guys, from this medium-sized lemon, you're gonna get about a teaspoon of lemon zest here. So this goes right into the bowl. And now all you do is mix this up. So I'm using softened butter here. I don't know if I mentioned that to you guys before, but really it needs to be soft so that you can really work the ingredients into the butter. Now, compound butters, what can you use them with? I mean, it really is, just as the flavor combinations are endless, you can really use compound butters in so many different ways. It's kind of a restaurant trick to have these flavorful butters on hand because they're added to dishes towards the end of the cooking process or when they're being served. So if you have some grilled or pan-seared fish, you can add a little bit of this compound butter on top of it just towards the end of the cooking process so that the flavors are still bright, and it really does add a delicious flavor to it. I'm gonna show you today on some pasta, which, hey, did you ever think about that? You know, easy weeknight meal, boil up some pasta. If you have this in your fridge, add a little bit of this butter to your warm pasta and you have something that's really fantastic. So once this is all mixed together, guys, form it into a log. And this is an easy way to kind of store the compound butter in your refrigerator or in your freezer. Take some plastic wrap here. You could also use parchment paper or wax paper is totally fine. And just scrape your compound butter out onto your plastic wrap. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna roll the plastic wrap over the top and you're gonna create kind of a log, a cylinder. Now, as always, when I do this, and I think I've shown you guys this before, but if you have one of these on hand, this is a plastic bowl scraper, so it's not too rigid and sharp, so it really works well with the plastic wrap and the soft butter, but it has a flat, straight edge to it, which will really help in compressing the butter, pushing it into a nice round shape. So I'm kind of pushing the butter back, compressing it together so there are no air pockets. And then you can kind of gently roll it. I'm gonna roll it all the way up in the plastic wrap here. And then if you have enough plastic wrap towards the end here, the two end sides, what you can do is you can kind of twist and spin the butter like you would, or like you may have seen people when they're making sausage or something like that, they do this. What it does is it helps, again, to compress the butter together and it gives this nice cylindrical shape to it. Now, this should go into your refrigerator and chill before you use it for about 2 hours if you wanted to use it that day. But again, guys, this can go into the refrigerator and you can save it for the long term for up to maybe, like, I would say 1 or 2 weeks. But really, if you keep this in the freezer, that's the best bet because it will hold for much longer. Now, one of my favorite tricks here, and I use this for icebox cookies and other things that I want to keep a nice shape while I'm chilling, is a paper towel roll. So save these when you have them. I have this cut in half and then you cut it lengthwise. And what this does is it creates a cradle so that when you chill this, when you put it in the freezer, you can even store it in the freezer just like this, guys. The rigidity of the cardboard really helps to keep the nice rounded shape. So into the refrigerator for 2 hours, or again, guys, throw it in the freezer for the long term. I'm gonna show you how to use it in a quick, easy way. It's been about 2 hours. You can see that the butter sets up nicely. It's nice and firm. And I'm going to just trim off the end here of the plastic and cut off what I need. Now you can rewrap this in plastic wrap, and for long-term storage, I would recommend that you put it into a resealable plastic bag so it stays nice and fresh. So, really all you need is 1 or 2 slices of this compound butter. And look at how nice it slices, guys. Now, if you're using it out of the freezer, give it a few minutes. I'm gonna toss it with some pasta today. I just have some warm penne pasta here. I'm gonna add like maybe 2, you know what, I'll add all 3 pieces here. But mixing this together, letting the butter melt into the pasta. So there you go, guys. In the amount of time it takes to boil pasta, you could have a very simple, easy dinner on the table. Now, add a little bit of cheese here. It really is a good thing to keep in your refrigerator, in your freezer, to use every single night of the week. So there you go, guys. I hope I've encouraged you to try out compound butters at home. And if you have any kitchen conundrums, as always, guys, reach out to us using the hashtag Kitchen Conundrums. We love to hear what you're having problems with so we can help you solve them. Enjoy, guys. And as always, guys, click like and subscribe.